I wonder what this could be. Well, you clicked on this video and the video had a thumbnail and a title, so you probably know what's in here. This is my new editing PC. So, I've been using a Haswell chip in my current Windows 7 desktop, which was also a Dell, for 6 years now. And I got it like the day the chip came out, so that was pretty cool. And it served me well. I upgraded the RAM once along the way and the hard drive once as well. But it's getting a little long in the tooth, and it's a little slower. And so like the boot up time is a little slower, rendering is starting to take longer again. So I want to accelerate my workflow because, well, you know, they say time is money. And, you know, it's hard to find the time to, you know, maintain a day job, have your own life, social life, travel, and also run 2 YouTube channels and a large Facebook group with a high interactive audience. So I need something a little bit faster. I decided to finally get down and get this, partly because Microsoft support for Windows 7 is ending at the end of 2019, so I needed a new computer. So once again, dude, I'm getting a Dell. You know, it might have been a little lame in the 90s or whatever, and there was a period where Dells were not the way to go because they used to use old, you know, refurb parts, but there was a scandal about that like in the 90s, and they've cleaned up ever since. It's like when, I think it was again in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was an E. coli breakout at Jack in the Box. Shortly thereafter, because of that bad press, the only way they could stay alive was to go in the complete opposite direction and have the cleanest possible facilities. So they actually became the more reliable place to eat after that problem. And so I have found Dell to be incredibly reliable over the years. It might not be the most cost-effective option. Sure, I could have built my own PC, but what if I screwed up along the way and damaged something? And that's extra work as well. And again, there's that time investment. And so, yeah, I might have gotten something a little faster, a little cheaper, especially if I put it together myself. But the thing is, when you go with Dell, in my personal experience, this stuff lasts forever. I've never gotten rid of a Dell machine because it was malfunctioning, because something broke down. The card readers can be a little finicky, but other than that, everything is super solid. And other computers that I've bought from like Best Buy or online or other places, they didn't last nearly as long. I think you should get a good 5 years of usability out of a computer, and when I don't go with Dell, I normally get like 3. But with Dell, 6+, sometimes even longer. I normally end up replacing it because it gets a little slower and the operating system loses its support. So it's that time again. And so I'm a little sad to say goodbye to my old computer. I'm super excited to see what's in this here box. So welcome to the unboxing video. And my co-star here takes up a lot of space. So let's just get started right away. Dive right into opening up my brand new editing PC from Dell. And we'll just see what's in the box and go from there. Okay, so this box is pretty big. I think I'm going to move it just to get it out of the way, because there are boxes on boxes with this thing. So first off, you get this sort of flat but wide box here. And this is actually kind of cool. This is a different way of packaging than what I remember getting from them in the past, because it's this compartmentalized stuff, which is kind of interesting. So what do we have here? This looks like, this is the power cord for the tower. Got, you know, manuals and quick access instructions. Over here you've got the mouse. So this mouse feels pretty solid. Let's go ahead and open that mouse. Let's take a look at the mouse that came with the computer. I didn't need a new mouse. I got mice on mice on mice. The one that I'm using right now from, again, the last time I got a Dell is fantastic. And I think I have the mouse from the previous Dell that I had before that in the closet somewhere as a backup. So, you know, mice are kind of hard to screw up. If you want a gaming mouse, you might want to look at like a Logitech or something. But for, you know, video editing and for, you know, just basic Photoshop functionality, a normal mouse is pretty good. I actually like the mice that Microsoft makes as well. Those are really sturdy. They've got a really solid form factor and grip to them. So, here's my mouse. Here's my new mouse. The least exciting part of my new computer. It's got this plastic on it. Should I take the plastic off? I'm gonna do it. I like how shiny, crisp, and clear that is. So, you know, that, not too loud. It's enough of a click so that you know when you're doing it. And it forms to my hand really nicely. That feels really well designed. And it's got the track wheel, and as you scroll, you feel the little bumps, so that gives you a little indicator. And there's also a button right there in the middle, which looks like it's a fast-moving mouse. It's like a mouse with speed lines coming off of it, a pointer. So that's interesting. I wonder if that's maybe to control the speed. I'm not sure. And it has side buttons. So this is actually what I call unnecessarily fancy pants mouse. Because they didn't need to include one this nice. They could have just sent like the cheapest little 2-button, Bob's your uncle, you're done. But it's got the scroll wheel, this button here, and the 2 side buttons. So we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons, plus the scroll wheel. And the scroll wheel you can push down as a button as well. So that's a USB connection. That seems really solid. I'm happy with the mouse. I mean, the power cable's a power cable, so you know, I guess I'm happy with that. Not easy to have an opinion about a power cable for your computer. I'm gonna guess this is the keyboard. So let's take a peek here. Pop this sucker open. This is made in China. Now this keyboard at first glance doesn't look great. I'm going to say that I think this keyboard looks kind of cheap, to be completely honest with you. And you'll always get my honest opinion here on the channel. Whether there's an affiliate link or it's a sponsored video, I'm always going to be telling the truth. This has neither, but this is a pretty cheap keyboard, not going to lie. The one thing on a keyboard that I kind of need, love, is a calculator button. Now, I know you can pin it to your start and taskbar and all that kind of stuff, but I still just love having that button. Just click it, and there it is. Particularly as, I think, a YouTuber, you're calculating dimensions. If you are scaling something up and down and you want the aspect ratio to hold, depending on the software you're in, I find that I need the calculator more often than you might expect. Calculating time. So, for example, just the other day on Vacation Impossible, my primary channel, the reason that I do all of this, I was making a thumbnail the other day, and I needed to calculate, like, oh, I want this to be 1/3 the size of the image, so calculator. Also, I was making an end card for a video on Vacation Impossible where I had a bunch of still images, and I wanted it to last the 20 seconds that you get for an end screen. So I needed to figure out how many, I think there was actually 8 images, or 9 images, it was an odd number, it was like 7 or 9 images. And I needed to figure out exactly how long each image could be in duration so that it would last altogether, cumulatively, the 20 seconds. Open up the calculator and you're done in 2 seconds. So I'm probably going to keep my old keyboard. I don't think I'm going to be going with this keyboard, but I do think I'm going to switch to this mouse. Nice mouse, cheap keyboard. But again, you know, if I had the option to not get a mouse and a keyboard and save a little bit of money when ordering this, I probably would have done that because what I have is fine. So this is kind of bonus stuff. We haven't gotten to the core of why we're here. And now it's time for the piece de resistance, the tower. And I went for an XPS and a full-size tower because, I'll be honest with you, I cheaped out on the video card and the RAM a little bit because I want to be able to upgrade that later. So, here's the tower. It's got this nice protective thing on it, which is kind of cool. I like the color. I like the dark PC look. It can show dust a little bit, but I still think it's better than like a gray or a white. It's sleek. I don't know. That's just my sense of style. Let's pop this protective stuff off here and get a look at this tower. Okay. Oh, there is something on the bottom of this that feels okay. Here, let me show you. So this is the bottom of the tower here, and it's got this weird it goes all the way around. It's sort of this grill, which is probably good for airflow, which is important because your components can heat up and you want to keep them cool. But it's weird because the lines, the grate here, it's not super thick, so it moves when you touch it. So that's an odd sensation. And you know what? This is actually the top of the machine, not the bottom. So that explains that. So you've got that air vent grill, starts on one top corner here, and then goes around to the other side, only on that half side. So clearly, if you're putting this in a desk, this is the side that you would probably have flush up against part of the desk, whereas you're going to want some airspace at the top and the side here to keep that airflow flowing. So that's important to note. So let's take a look at what we've got on the back of this guy here. So that's where the power plug goes in. Got a security locking mechanism here. There's your Ethernet port where your RJ45 cord would go in. Now let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 USBs on the back. That's nice. Got HDMI here for onboard, but there is a graphics card. I did get a video card. Only 2 gigs of video RAM, but the one I have right now is an ATI with 1. So having this with 2 is a GeForce, I believe, is fine. So you've got that adapter there, and you've got the HDMI. What do we got here? So, oh, that's interesting. I'm not familiar with that USB connection. It doesn't look like a C, although I suppose it might be. So anyways, we've got the 4 here are all of the SS kind, and then we've got the regular USB up here. So this is an XPS 8930 series. And then, of course, you got the audio hookups here and another locking mechanism there. So that's pretty cool. Simple indicator light there. And you've got these 4 expansion bays here, which I'm definitely going to be using at least 2 of, if not more, depending on how I end up using this over the coming years, because I expect this to last me at least 5 years, possibly longer. So let's take a look now at the front of my brand new computer. It's very exciting. So we've got the SD card reader. Now, if there's anything on Dell equipment that ever seems to fail, it seems to be the card readers can be a little finicky. Everything else I've had has been pretty good. The optical drive sometimes can get a little finicky, but that's it. The card reader is the only part that is ever given me challenge. My last 2 Dells, it was a little finicky. So I'm hoping that this one's better. Part of it is the previous media card readers had tons of things, compact flash and stuff like that. It was backwards compatible more than it needed to be. You've got the SD, that's good enough because you'll be able to put a micro SD into the converter, pop the full SD in, Bob's your uncle. You got headphone, microphone, again that funny, I think that might be a USB-C connection. And then you've got 3 more standard USB connections. So that's 6 on the back, 3 on the front, that's 9 plus 2 USB-Cs, that's like 11. That's awesome. That's great for connectivity. Because, I mean, you know, you're going to have one taken up by your mouse, you're going to have one taken up by your keyboard, and then you go from there. You know, if you have a proper microphone, that's probably going to be a USB connection, you know, and on. Perhaps a webcam, etc., etc. So it's good to have. So this is pretty good. I did decide not to get an optical drive because it's just the way of the future. Optical is kind of dying. So one of the things that I've been doing over the last year is I've been slowly digitizing everything that I had on an optical disc, whether it was a DVD, a CD, whatever, so that I can get rid of that physical media and free up my workspace as well. So it's made my workspace cleaner, and it's been helpful having digital copies of that material. And now I'm saving, you know, a bit of money by not bothering with an optical drive on this. It'll probably also reduce its power consumption and make it quieter as well, depending on how you use it. So it's got some protective coverings on it that I'm going to leave there for now. I went with the Intel Core i7. This is a 9th generation processor, which is a big jump up from a Haswell chip. Several generations, in fact. So I'm looking forward to putting this thing to the test and seeing what it can do. So there you have it. That's my new computer. I still have a lot of work to do to get ready to switch over to this new guy, but this is sleek, and it looks like expansion's going to be relatively easy. So that's that. Thanks for watching. We're going to be having additional videos coming out. I'm going to be reviewing other equipment for YouTubers, and I'm also going to probably do an update about this thing once I get her all set up, updated, all the software installed, let you know how this thing is running. But from a cosmetic standpoint and from a port availability standpoint, I really like it. The design is sleek, it's clean, and there's just ports on ports on ports. And expandability, so I like the XPS series from Dell. I'm hoping this one will step up very much like my previous one did and serve me well for many years, so I'm looking forward to that. So make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on, because right after I record this, I'm going to go live and I'm going to be doing a tutorial, which when this comes out you'll already be able to re-watch, where I show you how to use TubeBuddy to check out your competition on YouTube. And so we do live streams without a whole lot of notice. It's whenever we have the time, whenever I'm able to squeeze one in. So if you have notifications turned on, you'll know when we're live. You'll be able to join us early in chat. And when I do channel reviews and tutorials, Q&A,
I normally go chronologically in chat. The first person to speak up in chat is the first person to get their question answered or their request, addressed. So make sure that you have notifications turned on for this channel so you can join us, and then maybe you can get your channel reviewed or your question answered or see a tutorial that you'd like to see. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, not to tell me I'm great, but to help other people discover this content, because that's how the algorithm works. So thank you so much. And, question of the day. I'm very curious. Have you ever got a Dell? Dude, did you get a Dell? Dudettes, anybody? And what's been your experience with Dell? Good experience? Bad experience? I'd love to hear down below. And if you got your computers from somewhere else, where do you get your editing computer? I'd be very curious to hear about it and what your experiences were. One time I got a refurb through Best Buy online. That thing didn't even last a full 3 years, I think, and I had nothing but regret doing that. So, but so far, Dell, this is probably my third or fourth for just me, not counting family members I've bought Dells for. So this is probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth or sixth Dell I've personally purchased with my own money, and I've been pleased every time, never regretted it once. So thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to notifications. And again, let me know in the comments, what do you use to edit your videos with? And how do you like it? Do you think it was worth the money? This ran me about $1,600 Canadian, including all the taxes, environmental fee, shipping, etc., etc. So I'm hoping that, it'll be worth it. We'll see. The proof will be in the pudding. And it's funny getting this from my YouTube channel. Every penny I've made off of Vacation Impossible wouldn't pay for half of this thing. But that's the life of the small YouTuber. We do this for fun. It's a passion. We love it. And unfortunately, it doesn't fund itself yet. But go ahead and also check out Vacation Impossible. Maybe one day we'll get to that point. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.